Your job already taught you how to run a business. You just don't know it yet. Here's something nobody tells you when you're grinding inside a corporate job. Everything you've been doing for your employer, you could be doing it for yourself and charging way more for it. I'm going to show you exactly how that works, but there's one thing I need to tell you at the end of this video. One mistake that kills this whole thing before it even starts. Stay for that. So let's be real for a second. Most people who want to start a business think they need to come up with some fresh idea nobody has ever thought of. A product, a brand, the whole thing. And that belief is exactly what keeps them stuck for years. Because here's the truth. You already have the thing. It's sitting inside your work history. The skills you built on someone else's clock. Those are yours. And the market will pay for them. The whole game is just learning how to package it and point it at the right people. That's it. So let's walk through how that actually happens. The first thing you have to do is stop thinking about your job title and start thinking about your track record, because your title means nothing outside your company, but what you actually fixed, what you made faster, cleaner, less of a disaster. That travels. Think back over the last few years. What kept breaking before you showed up? What did people come to you for when things went sideways? What did you solve so many times it started to feel boring? That's your offer. Not some abstract skill on a resume. A specific problem you can solve for a specific type of a person. So instead of I'm good at marketing, it is I help small clinics get more returning patients without running ads. That's how specific you need it to be. Instead of I know operations, it's I clean up the chaos behind fast growing teams so nothing falls through the cracks. That's specific. See the difference? One is a skill. The other is a result someone will pay you for. And once you've nailed down what that result is, that's when you figure out exactly who needs it the most. This is where most people go broad, and it costs them everything. They say they help small businesses or entrepreneurs. And I get it. It feels safer. It, cast a wide net, right? But here's what's actually happening. When you try to speak to everyone, your message lands on nobody, because nobody feels like you're talking to them. But the second you get specific, uncomfortably specific, something shifts. People start thinking, wait, how does this person know exactly what I'm dealing with? That feeling is trust. And trust is what gets people to buy. So pick one person, one industry, one stage of business, get so specific it feels weird, because that specificity is exactly what makes you stand out in a world full of generalists. And once you know who that person is, you can build an offer that speaks directly to their exact frustration. Here's the one sentence that makes this whole thing click. I help specific person get specific result without the thing they're most sick of dealing with. That last part, the without part, is where you win, because the without part is the frustration. It's the thing they've already tried to solve and failed at it, and they couldn't solve it. When you name it out loud, they feel seen, they feel heard. Without hiring a developer, without burning out their team, without throwing money at ads that don't work. See what I'm saying? You get that sentence right and you don't need a fancy pitch. You don't need a long sales call. That one sentence does most of the work for you. Now, and this is important, once you have that sentence, your first instinct is going to go and build something like a course, a website, a brand. Do not do that. I know building feels productive. It really does. But it's the most expensive kind of procrastination because you are investing weeks into something that might be completely wrong. What you actually need is one client, not a perfect product, not a polished offer deck, one real person with the exact problem you solve, willing to pay you to fix it. So instead of building, post about the problem. DM people who look like your target. Get on calls, just listen, and then offer to solve it live for whoever seems most ready. Your first version is a service. Messy, manual, you doing everything kind of service. And that's exactly right. Because those early conversations teach you things no amount of product building ever could. And here's the part people skip. You charge real money for it. It's not free. Most corporate professionals undercharge when they go out on their own. They think they need to prove themselves first, so they start low to get clients. But here's the problem with that. Low prices attract people who will drain you and still not be satisfied or happy about the work. And they don't even give you the margin to actually deliver something great. Charge based on the transformation, not your hours, not what feels right or safe. What is it worth to that person to not have this problem anymore? That's your price. 3 to 5 paying clients at a real rate will tell you more about whether this works than 100 free signups ever will. Now, while you're doing that work, you document everything. Every call, every solution, every messy workaround you figured out on the fly, write it down. Because that stuff becomes your content, your frameworks, eventually your course, your templates, your digital products. The library of how I solve this that you're building right now, that's what eventually starts working for you while you're not working. Most people are just trading time for money. This is how you start building something that has leverage. You're not just doing client work. You're creating the raw material for everything that comes after. And ladies and gentlemen, after is where things get interesting. Because once this works, you scale it. Once you've got a few clients and you know the offer works, then you build, automate the intake, add a simple CRM, build onboarding templates, productize what you've been doing by hand, and then you layer on group program, toolkit, course, community, one thing at a time. Now you're not a freelancer anymore. You are a business owner. The income doesn't depend entirely on you showing up. It depends on the system you built. That's the whole point. But here's the thing. A lot of people get to this point in the video and they still don't move. And I told you I would explain why. It's not their skills. It's not their niche. It's not even the market. It's that they spend the first year trying to look ready instead of just doing the thing before they feel ready. They perfect the website, they tweak the offer, they tell themselves One more course will make them confident enough to charge real money. And that feeling, it never comes on its own. The people who actually built this, they started messy. They had the awkward early calls. They sent the DMs that felt weird. They charged real money before they had a case study to point to. Action is what creates readiness, not the other way around. Your corporate career already proved you can solve real problems. You've been doing it for years. You just haven't pointed that at yourself yet. Go back through your last few years of work, find the thing that kept breaking until you showed up. That's your business. Start there.